see that in an instant replay.
So ouch, yeah, quite a bit of nasty spill yesterday. Still got the road rash to prove it. But if you are going to crash, make sure you crash with 3 Insta360 Ace Pro 2s recording you in 4K. Yay. Which is what we're here to talk about today, the brand new Insta360 Ace Pro 2. So this is the follow-up to the Ace Pro from last year, as the name suggests. And this is Insta360's high-end flagship camera. This thing can do 8K, it's got HDR, it's got 2 chips in there, one dedicated for AI stuff, one dedicated for image processing, all that stuff. So yeah, let's dive in and find out more about it. So headline stats, this thing can do 8K. It can now do 8K 30 frames a second. It used to only do 24 frames a second. But to be honest, most of the time, 4K is going to be plenty because not many monitors can do 8K anyway. So I usually run this in 4K. I'm a cinema nerd, so I do it in 4K 24. But if you want, it can do 4K 120, all that good stuff. Obviously, the resolution, the sensor is only one part of the equation. The other part is your lens. And this has got some upgrades here too. So we still have a Leica lens. So Leica doing the lens now and helping with the color science. But now the lens has got a lot wider. So we've now got 157-degree field of view. Now, on the old Ace Pro, that was maybe one thing that made it not so good for cyclists. It only had 151 field of view. And now 151, 157 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've got the thing on a chest mount or on your handlebars and you want to get more of the action, every degree makes a difference. For comparison, the DJI Osmo Action 5 is like 155 degrees, the GoPro Hero 13 is 156 degrees, and so this is 157 degrees, so it's going to be giving you the widest angle to get all of the action in the shot. But hardware-wise, I think one of the biggest changes, and one of the things I was pumped to see, is this little microphone cover on here. So now we have this little built-in like wind mesh cover, which is designed to filter out some of the wind noise. Obviously for cyclists, this is a huge thing because these things are usually on our bikes doing 30, 40 k's an hour, and you want to be able to capture the sound, right? So if you're doing like vlog stuff, you're talking to the camera, you don't have to have a mic strapped on you. Or if you're doing a race, you know, everyone's shouting at each other in the race, or the sounds of gears shifting, you want that sound. So you don't just want the of the wind. So yeah, that's really cool. So that mic cover is really cool. Does it work? I did a bit of a comparison. Let's check this out. Okay. Let's have a wind noise test. So this is riding along at 10 k's an hour. So this is riding along at 10 k's an hour. This is riding along around 20 k's an hour. This is riding along around 20 k's an hour. This is riding along at 30 k's an hour. This is riding along at 30 k's an hour. I think there's like the mesh, and under the mesh there's some foam in there too, so if you are going in water, that's not going to be a no-go. But you can slide this off and slide on a normal cover if you're going in water, so not a problem. For me, not an issue because I stay away from the water. You've seen how bad I am off-road. There's no way I'm going in the sea. Also now we have 13.5 stops of dynamic range. What does that mean? Basically when you're riding along, especially middle of the day going through the trees, you've got the sky, you've got the sun, but then you've got the dark of the shadows. Lots of cameras struggle with that. Either the sky is just going to be a huge white box all blown out, or the shadows on the road is going to be jet black with no detail. But this one with 13.5 stops of dynamic range, basically you can see it all, especially with the HDR mode turned on. Basically all of the colors get crumped down and then you can see everything. Now this HDR stuff is something Insta360 has been doing for a while now, but before I think it had a really like fake, like weird HDR look to it. I think they've tweaked it. I don't know if that's something that they've done with Leica, but now it's looking a lot more natural. So even though you have this crazy dynamic range, like more than your eyes seem to be able to see, it still looks natural. But what else is new? So as well as that wider lens on there getting more angle, they've also got a new mode called Megaview. And so lots of these action cameras, if you have them on the full mode, like you get this really fisheye effect and it looks a bit dodgy. But then if you try to get rid of the distortion and have it linear, like your field of view goes down too much and you can't see much. Megaview is like the best of both worlds. So you still get a really wide angle, but you don't get the crazy distortion. So yeah, 90% of the time when I'm using this, I'm using it in Megaview mode. I think it's great for road cycling because the lines of the road don't get distorted too much, but you still get a really wide angle. Another new feature of the new unit is the battery improvements. So the battery's got bigger, and now that's giving us up to 180 minutes of battery life. So that's like, what, 3 hours? Enough for most races. But now it also has fast charge, so you can fast charge it from 0 to 80% in like 22 minutes. So faster charging is always welcome. But another cool feature, it now has reverse charging too. So let's say you're stuck in a pinch for whatever reason, your mobile phone's about to run out of power, you can use this to charge your mobile phone. So not an everyday feature, but features like this are things that they've taken time to put in there, and I think it's cool. Another cool feature to see here now is the L-log mode. So before, the camera didn't really have a proper dedicated log mode. What is a log mode? If you know, you know, but if you don't know, basically it's just a way that makes the image flatter and then lets you color grade it in post and gives you more flexibility when you're doing your color grading. So if you like messing around with colors in post, that's good for you. If you don't worry about it, just don't use it. Another cool feature that Insta360 have been doing well these days is the on-screen stats. So you can basically connect the Insta360 app to your Garmin app or your Apple app or a bunch of other apps, and basically it will look at the time you made this video file, were you riding your bike? If you were, it automatically pulls in the data, puts them on screen, perfect. If you don't have one of those devices, it does now support dragging in fit files, or there's now a feature in the app where basically in the app you can start recording the ride, and it will record your speed, your position, your track, all the distance, all that stuff, and then use the data from your phone in the camera as well. So very cool. The mounting system is the same as last year's system. So basically we've got magnets on here. So pick up the camera, press the 2 buttons, it comes off. And then if you've got, let's say you've got another one of these mounts on your helmet or whatever, or on the bottom of your bike, just magnets, pull you in there and you're on, press the 2 buttons, you're off. This is a cool system because, like I say, you can have one of these on your helmet, one on the front of your bike, one on the back of your bike, and then just one camera. You can switch between all the positions super fast, super easy. So yeah, magnets are cool, these mounts are cool, just pop them in there and we're back mounted. But yeah, so now like Insta360 essentially have 3 cameras that are options for cyclists. You've got the X4, which is the 360 camera. You've got the Go 3S, which is the small one that can go in the action pod. And now you have this, the AcePro2. Which one should you get, or who's this one for? So the 360 camera, obviously its unique thing is that it's capturing everything in 360, and then you have to go in post and reframe it and stuff, but you can get some unique shots with that. The Go 3S is the one I probably recommend to most people because, you know, it's a jack of all trades. You don't get the 360 stuff, but you can mount it anywhere on your bike, on your helmet, super easy to mount, very lightweight, cheap, affordable, and now the image quality is great too. Which brings us on to the AcePro2. So in my opinion, this is really for the heavy users, the power users, the people who really do care about image quality and making it look the best it can. Like I use the Ace Pro and the AcePro2 in some of my productions that I do here as marketing jobs for some of my clients. And you can use this as a B cam, you can use this as a crash cam, along with like DSLR footage, and no one can tell the difference. So that's what this is for, the real power users who really want the best image quality. The AcePro2 is the one for you. So let's go through the rough pros and cons of the camera. So pros, I think number 1 is the image quality. The image quality in this thing is just getting better and better. The Ace Pro is already great, but this is now even higher. I think most of it came down to some subtle tweaking and the new lens in there. But yeah, now the image quality on this can go toe to toe with anything. Second advantage of the new one is definitely the battery life. A jump up to 3 hours of battery life is always appreciated. You know, this thing has lots of processing power inside, the HDR stuff we're talking about. So to get up to 3 hours of battery life out the camera, very impressive. The third advantage or feature I really like about the new one is the wind cover too. At first I wasn't sure how effective it would be, but in my testing, yeah, it's super effective. You know me, I'm a YouTube nerd, I always have my mics on anyway, but to have a situation now that if I don't have my mic or whatever, I can still get usable audio, that's great. Disadvantages or things I don't like about the camera, things that could be improved. You know, there's no such thing as a perfect product, so we have to nitpick. I'd say number 1, the lack of a 10-bit codec seems to be a bit of an omission at this point. Especially when you've got that log. So the log is super flat, you know, 13.5 stops of dynamic range. But when you do crop into that dynamic range and start using just a slither of it, then you don't have so much color data because it's only 8-bit color. If we did have a 10-bit codec for this, you could really punch in there and get some good data out of it. I think that would help the real power users. Like I say, this is probably only applying to like 1% of people who would buy this camera, but yeah, I'm nitpicking. And I'd say the other disadvantage is just the weight. So yeah, now we're up to 178 grams. As a weight weenie, any gram counts. So, you know, we're about 40 grams heavier than the Go 3S at this point, I think. And again, this is the powerhouse, you know, this is the processing, this is the image quality, but you do notice it. Like if you've got it on your helmet and you're quickly looking left and right, you can definitely feel the extra weight on there. So if the weight is an issue, go for the Go 3S, but just something to note, if you do want the superior image quality, the price to pay is the extra weight. But yeah, I say basically the same thing in every Insta360 video that I've done. I started out as a paying Insta360 customer before I started working with them. They are now a sponsor of the channel, so I hugely appreciate them for supporting the channel. It's just great to work with a company that has so much respect for cyclists and makes products that are well designed for cyclists. You know, so many features in this thing now are just dedicated cyclist features. You know, like the ability on the phone to start recording your ride if you don't have a Garmin or whatever. Like, that's a cool feature that, you know, people who are fishing with this thing aren't going to be using that feature, right? So it's cool to see a brand that respects cyclists, and I'm happy to support them back. But should you get one, the choice as always is yours. For me, as a heavy user, I can't live without this thing. Like, as a guy who needs AAA quality image quality in my productions, I can't substitute this for anything else. If you are more of a casual user, maybe the Go 3S is a better choice. You can check out the video on that one here. But if you are interested in the AcePro2, the links are in the description down below. And I'll see you next time. China Cycling out.